Console, online. HPG connection, online. Educational module, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello, class, and welcome to On the Origin of Battlemechs Podcast, episode 86. Today we are talking about the Excalibur, a 70-ton machine. I am your host, Brent Stewart. My co-hosts today are...
I'm Chandler, and who's that other guy?
And I'm Derek.
There he is.
I'm back. I have returned to you from the land of Davian, and I am here again to speak about the Excalibur.
The land of Davian, so what, all of 3 systems they still hold?
You shut your mouth over there. You don't even have a nation. Calm down.
Hey, no, it's back. Mostly. I mean, the Endurians are doing their thing, but when aren't they doing their thing?
Well, yeah, the Endurians are doing their thing, and then, of course, the Wolf Empire, holds the best parts of the rest.
Give me back Stuart. I want it back.
Man, that's how I feel about New Avalon.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, I'll help you get back New Avalon if you help me get back Stuart.
Deal. You hear that, Ray Arostia? We've made deals over here.
Legally binding ones.
Well, Derek, why don't you remind everybody who you are and maybe give them an update on what you've been doing lately.
So, I'm Derek. I was on the Victor episode, and then I also did a blurb for the Warhammer episode. I did a nice funny commercial. Go take a look. But I am an Army officer stationed in Korea. Huge Battletech nerd, as these guys know. They've seen what happens when I get drunk and start talking about Battletech politics. It's pretty entertaining. Nonetheless, since the last time I was on, I've been waiting for my Wave 2 to show up patiently and slowly building up my first Davian guards and my third Bear guard, for my Alpha Galaxy. So, been kind of hanging out, chilling. A lot of painting.
Patiently? Not sure if patiently is the word I would use.
Oh no, I am very impatient. I want my mechs, dude.
He wants his mechs and he wants them now.
So as I mentioned at the top of the episode, we are talking about the Excalibur, a 70-ton machine. And the Excalibur is an SLDF design first developed by Yankee Weapons in 2619 and major production unrolled in 2620. This machine is designed to be a fast, long-range weapons platform. To that end, its right arm has a false right hand and weapon sword, in air quotes there, that is in fact the right arm's weapon port. This, along with the armored look, gave the machine its name, the Excalibur. While the machine was criticized for relatively light armor, Yankee Weapons countered with its intent to be a long-range fighter and that its AMS system adds longevity when fighting, as LRMs are the majority of the long-range exchanges. While the SLDF fell, the Excalibur went from being a SLDF machine to a Comguard machine after Amaris was dealt with, of course, and then on to a Word of Blake machine when Terra fell again. This time, however, the Comstar would contract the Draconis Combine's independent weaponry, resulting in the machine being more accessible than ever. Many balk at the Excalibur on paper, but after action reports during the entire length of its service show that its speed and weaponry help make the unit it's working with more effective.
All I've got to say about this is praise be.
Praise be.
Praise be.
This guy's got the design quirks of vestigial hands, because of course that right hand is fake. So the first model is the EXC-B1 seen in 2619, and this guy has a movement profile of 5'8". It's got a anti-missile system in the left torso, a LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, a Gauss rifle in the right arm, and a small pulse laser in the left arm. It's got 10 single heat sinks, an XL engine, and it has 2 tons of ammo for the LRMs in the left torso, a ton of ammo for the AMS in the center torso, and 2 tons of Gauss rifle in the right torso, but of course Gauss rifle is inert. But no case on any of it, so, even if that Gauss rifle went up in the right arm, you're going to not have a good time. Yeah.
Ammo explosions are meant to be seen in orbit.
Have a bad day. When you had a bad day. Also, I do have to say, I do think this thing is marginally more effective than B1 battle droids.
Well, I mean, with the Gauss rifle alone, it's more effective.
I think this guy's pretty neat. I mean, it's got the long range down pat. It's got some decent speed for its tonnage, especially in the era. In the era, it's actually quite fast for its speed. And that Artemis 4 is great, So it's neat. It's also very heat efficient for its era, considering no double heat sinks.
It's also very, very lightly armed. Like, holy.
Yeah, it's lightly armored, but I mean overall it's not meant to be a front line slugging it out like a Victor, a Warhammer, Marauder. I mean, it's kind of just like stay behind the Marauder. Let the Marauder take the hits for you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this guy's standing beside a catapult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and then when they get in close, you have to let the catapult take the hits for you because it has more armor.
Yeah, I mean, it's a catapult, so it's not really a loss, but
Yeah, I think just the only real downside this thing has is the only weight savings technology it has is the XL engine. Like, it doesn't use double heat sinks, and then it also doesn't have any sort of ferro or endo steel. So that's really what's holding it back. But I mean, only holding it back in the shape of, I can't get shot at by anything larger than like a a Stinger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, overall, for what it's built to do, long range, it's good. Like, it's got speed, it's got all that. My only issue with it, and again, it's just a technology issue, is that lack of case. And the fact that your ammo is sitting right on top of that XL engine.
Yep.
You basically hit that left side, light off the LRM-20, and you're gonna have a nice fireworks display of what was once an Excalibur B1.
But remember, this is a first iteration. This is effectively the prototype.
You're a prototype.
Yeah. No, I realize that. I mean, obviously we're gonna get into some better, well, I wouldn't say better, but different design philosophies that are put in place. But yeah, see, I've become academic in my analysis of Battlemechs.
Oh, this guy's got a battle value of 1549 and a point value of 38. And of course, because he is like the not official but effectively prototype, we have the next model, the B2, which came out a year later in 2620. And it's got the same movement profile of 5.8. It's got the anti-missile system, this time in the center torso, a LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, and a Gauss rifle in the right arm. It's got 11 single heat sinks and that XL engine, so pretty much all the same, except it has taken out that small laser to add case to the right torso and the left torso.
I like it.
Yeah, honestly, it's just a straight upgrade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say it's more of a side grade technically, because you do take a hit on losing close range capabilities, unless you're playing with TACOP rules where you can use the anti-missile system as like a ranged one machine gun.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's why you have your buddy in a catapult to all his 4 medium lasers.
Exactly. I mean, overall, I think the small pulse laser, I don't really think it gives it much to work with, even in close range, because it's basically I'm flashing a flashlight at you, and anything that's going to be coming at you at that kind of, in the back line like that is either they've just pummeled their way through your front line and you're in a world of hurt, or it's going to be some very light, fast mechs that are just going to be like,
Strobe. Da-da-da-da.
Light pulse laser goes whoosh. Yeah. They're going to be like,
But yeah, I do like that it moved the anti-missile system into the center torso completely. Just out of principle, because of course a torso is actually just a torso in real world quote. But less feed belts is better.
Yeah, it does suffer from the same issue that the Kingfisher I used to use has, which is there's a nice, lovely fireworks display of anti-missile system ammo in the center torso for you to hit. So whenever something does get through, all of a sudden you've gone from a fully functional mech that you could fix to no mech that you cannot fix because you have no torso.
oh, it doesn't have case in the center torso, does it?
So then maybe they should have just kept it in the left torso and moved the ammo there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe move it to the right. Yeah, because you have extra slots over there.
Or did they also put case in the right torso, didn't they?
I mean, logically it makes sense, but from a gameplay standpoint,
Yeah.
But I mean, this is not let's make the most cheesiest mech ever. This is let's make a design that fits what they'd probably do, and that's what they did.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Well, because it lost that small pulse laser, it's going down to a battle value of 1533, but the point value remains the same at 38. So rejoice, Alpha Strike players. I don't know. So next up, we have the B2 lowercase b in 2735. So, of course, the small b means bling for the royal version.
Bling, 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 bling.
It's got a movement profile of 5'8". It's got that anti-missile system in the center torso, a LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, and a Gauss rifle in the right arm. It's got that case on both of its left and right torso again. The big difference is this guy has an XL engine, endo steel as well, saving a little more tonnage to help keep... what does he do actually with that extra tonnage?
More armor.
Ah, yes, more armor. Well, not
Yes,
gonna complain about that.
Nope.
It gains an extra 56 points of armor, which puts it into solid heavy range. I would say it's still a little light for a 70-ton heavy, but seeing as it's a long range mech, I think it's acceptable.
Also, it's got a movement profile of 5'8".
Yes, and at 2735, that's really freaking fast for a 70-ton mech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you got a decent amount of armor spread out across, and then you've got that speed on top of that. So, I mean, you're able to run away and get that TMM up and shrug off hits if they do hit you. So I'm not going to complain.
So I guess at this point you just don't need double heat sinks. Like with this weapons loadout we've seen over the last couple ones, none of them are ever going to overheat unless you're in like intentionally turning things off or like in incredibly hostile conditions.
Yeah.
Even then, I think you're gonna struggle to overheat this mech. Like it's not gonna do it very easily.
Of course, it is also very ammo dependent because of that. Because none of its weapons are energy based except for the one model with the small pulse laser.
Yeah, endurance wise, this mech really suffers because if you're on a long campaign and you start running low on munitions, it's like, what are we gonna do with this Excalibur?
Yeah, set it outside and let it rot. I don't know. It'll punch someone with that fake sword.
Yeah, either that or hope those fake fists can be used as to throw hams.
Yeah, so this guy is pretty sweet. I think definitely a good upgrade. Getting that armor helps it a lot.
Yes.
So that is also reflected in the battle value because it bumps up to 1715 and the point value is bumped up to 43. We then have our next model, which is it's a clan model because it's the Excalibur, sort of, B2B EC. This guy's got a movement profile of 5'8". It's got an ER medium laser prototype in the left arm. It's got an improved Gauss rifle in the right arm. It's got an improved LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, anti-missile system in the center torso, and a ER small laser prototype in the rear. It's got 12 double heat sinks. It's got that XL engine. It has inner sphere endo steel, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a early, clan mech.
Mm-hmm.
This one is noted to being one of the best heavy mechs before the introduction of dedicated new designs that the clans produced. And I like it. I mean, it's not bad. Good luck getting your mitts on one of these nowadays. None of this equipment is in production. Like the improved Gauss rifle's not in production. The improved LRM-20s are not in production. The improved ER smallies are not in production. Like none of these are. There's not even a way to make one, even if you wanted one.
Yeah, but I mean, why would you want one? Because I mean, all of this is literally, if you look at it, it's the middle point between inner sphere and clan
if you're
tech.
a dude with all inner sphere tech, this stuff is probably still, something you'd still want to get your mitts on. But I like that it has max armor. This thing can, brawl if it wants to. It won't be extremely effective at it, but if it has to, it can.
Yeah, I mean, it drops it sheds a lot of pounds, shall we say, with those improved weapons. Because I mean, you're getting into the more compact clan stuff, so you're definitely giving a lot more to throw onto the armor, which is kind of making up for some of the issues that we've mentioned. So it's making it's a solid upgrade. I'm gonna go with upgrade. It's not a sad grade; it's an upgrade.
Well, the point values agree because this guy was seen in 2822, and it's got a battle value of 2008 and a point value of 45. And then after that, we come to the EXC-C1, seen in 3058. So, of course, this is the model first produced by Independent Weaponry for the Draconis Combine and Comstar. It's got a movement profile of 5'8". It's got an LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, a Gauss rifle in the right arm, and a medium laser in the left arm. Good old traditional medium laser.
If it works, don't change it.
Yeah. It's got 10 double heat sinks. The weight saving it has is the XL engine, and that is it. It does have case in the right torso and the left torso.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a nice in-between of the upgraded Excalibur that you get with the Royal model and then the regular B2. Because you get a bit more armor, but not a ton. You get the double heat sinks that you see later with the clan upgrade, and then you get all the nice Star League tech back. So
I guess my opinion on it is I'm kind of happy they dropped the anti-missile system, because for a long-range fire support like mech that this thing was designed for, AMS doesn't really make sense, because you're not trying, like, you're the one sending out missiles to hit people. I mean, against getting counter batteried, sure, but even then, like, you're generally far enough away where they're not hitting you unless they're throwing long toms at you, and well, AMS doesn't stop freight train size artillery shells from hitting you. So,
No, AMS just gives you a -2 on the to hit roll table. Or not to hit the cluster. Yes, sorry. I was like, as I was saying it, I was like, wait, no, that's not right. Stop. No, you're still going. Okay, good.
Yeah, so taking it off, adding that medium laser, I mean, against something that's going to get in the back line and try and, murder you and give you a very bad day, you have that medium laser to just be like, please don't. And I mean,
please, sir.
To be fair, most medium or most light mechs, they will respect the medium laser, for the medium laser is painful to them.
Not crippling, but danger close.
It burns. It burns.
It's definitely, it puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again.
So this guy's got a battle value of 1637 and a point value of 39. We then come to the first and only named model of our little episode here, the EXC-C1 Chandler.
Sir Nanos.
Seen in 3062. This guy is an interesting little oddity. I had to go digging to find this record sheet, and so it has a ERPPC in the right arm, 2 medium lasers in the left arm, a Guardian ECM suite in the right torso, and an LB-20X AC in the left torso. It's got 5 tons of ammo in the right torso with case. It's got that XL engine, and it has 11 double heat sinks.
I mean, you can guess my opinion of this already.
I'm going to guess that you'd like it.
I do. It's a cool mech.
I like it.
I want one.
Yeah, I want
at least one. I possibly even 2. The only thing is I wish it had the clan tech, since it is an X-Clan pilot. But, I will live with Star League tech because this thing is still good. I mean, seeing as it is already a custom, if I was able to just be like, yeah, I'm going to take this and make one, I would probably just use an ER large instead of the ERPPC. But, potato.
I mean, it punishes you at long range. It punishes you at short range. It punishes you at medium range.
It just don't care.
Yeah, it just delivers pain.
I do like that it has 3 tons of ammo, so you can mix and match with the cluster or slug.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I think, the optimal tonnage of ammo for a heavy mech with an AC-20, from my personal experience. The 4th ton just doesn't get used. It's so hard to stay alive long enough to use that 4th ton, and then if you do, eventually it just gets hit anyway, and then you don't survive.
I think at least in my opinion, when it comes to the LBX-20s and stuff, is if you're gonna do 3 tons, you do like a full ton of one, full ton of another, and then split that 3rd ton in half and go half and half.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking at, but that's kind of how I set my stuff up, just because it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, I usually do 2 tons of solid and 1 ton of cluster, but I mean, usually I'm shooting at mechs, so I need to punch holes. punch all the holes.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're shooting at. So
Those 20 pellets, for when they all hit, it's
and
glorious.
then deliver that nice cluster.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the LB20 XAC is a very potent weapon.
And especially when you're crit seeking, ooh, one would say it does the Lord's work.
Yeah.
This guy's got a battle value of 1778 and a point value of 37. We then come to the Comstar exclusive model, the EXC-CS, seen in 3067. So I guess where did the C1 come from then? Because the CS was the Comstar model.
The C1 was kind of like an in-between.
Pull up the record sheet 3058. Or not record sheet, TRO, if I have it downloaded.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. No, this is the one that they were making, and this is the one that Independent started making. This was after the fall of Terra.
Yeah, so the C1 is a...
C1 was the one they were making on Terra before the Blakist showed up. The
okay.
CS is the one they started making with independent weaponry from the Draconis Combine, because its availability... Comstar Draconis Combine.
Yeah, no, I figured because if it was Comstar, it would have been available before 3058, like at least for Tukid.
Yeah, no, it was one of those ones that was made afterwards just because it was
stat.
Yeah, we need to rebuild our mech forces after Case White. Yeah, or no, this is before Case White.
Yeah, at least I don't have to make a retraction later on because I caught it in the episode. Haha.
I'm here for you.
So the CS, of course, is the one produced by Independent Weaponry in the Draconis Combine. It was seen in 3067, and it has a movement profile of 5'8" or 6'9" when that TSM is active. It's got, TSM, but immediately my brain goes, but this is a very cool running mech. So what do we got for weapons? We've got an ER small laser in the head. We've got 4 ER medium lasers in the right torso. We've got an LRM-20 with Artemis 4 in the left torso, a targeting computer in the left torso, and an ER PPC in the right arm. It has 12 double heat sinks. It's got endo steel. It has an XL engine. It has TSM. It's got case in the right torso to protect that 3 tons of LRM ammo. Yeah, like this guy can get toasty if you push it real hard, but as long as you can feather that line and get your heat up there, you're going to get a real good movement profile. And it doesn't have terrible armor.
Yeah, no, it's
beautiful.
It's no, yeah.
It solves. I mean, it's a great evolution of the mech from what we were seeing in the early days. It just. Yeah, I'm lost for words.
Yeah,
sorry. I'm looking at it and being like, I need one of these in my life.
I feel like if we were to see a new Excalibur model, it would probably be based off of the CS, just because it seems to be the pinnacle of Excalibur designs up to this point.
Yeah,
I really like the targeting computer.
You got that T-comp, you got some nice lasers that go along with it, and that PPC. Yeah, I mean, tossing LRM-20s as they come up on you, and then when they get in that nice middle ground, you just start opening up with the lasers on them, get nice and toasty, and then you're able to move quick, and it's just like, you can do a lot of, I'd call it dancing, I guess, and just kind of sniping at range. It's very much a nice skirmish mech that has a very nice armor profile. So you're just kind of like, if I get hit, I'm not just dead.
Yeah. I mean, the way I kind of want to play it, just looking at the record sheet, is long range sniping, lobbing stuff at people, and just skirting around them. And if anybody charges, just completely opening up with the ER medium lasers, bringing my heat up and then increasing my movement profile.
Yeah. Where you can basically, as they're charging at you, just keep dancing out of range as you hit them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't even necessarily need to hit them. You just movement profile keeps getting better.
Yeah. Who would have thought making this mech hot would make it better?
Yeah.
Comstar
thought it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I mean, the Draconis Combine also, they love those PPCs, so maybe that's a little influence there. So this guy's got a battle value of 2174 and a point value of 46. We then come to our last model, the Excalibur EXC-D1, a Word of Blake model, which has a movement profile of 5'8". So we're getting some jumping now. It's got a targeting computer in the right torso, an improved C3 in the left torso, Streak SRM6s in the left torso, a rotary AC5 in the right arm, and 2 ER medium lasers in the left arm. It's got 11 double heat sinks, endo steel, and a case in the right torso to protect the 3 tons of ammo, and then case in the left torso to protect the 1 ton of SRM.
Dang it, Word of Blake. Why do you have to make such good mechs?
Yeah, I know, right? I literally, the moment I looked at this mech, I went down to faction availability, and it's Word of Blake, and then it's just extinct into the Republic era, and I was like, oh no.
Well, you need a D to
a
D1
D1
2
or D1 2, yeah. A D12.
Yeah.
Roll a D12
Why Republic of the Sphere? Why couldn't you keep making this thing?
because it has C3.
Yeah, but you can strip that out for a regular C3. And I mean, a C3 with a targeting computer. Oh, darn. And then you've got a little bit of extra tonnage for, I don't know, a little more armor.
All I can say is this is the closest you can get to Word of Blake perfection as possible. Just, especially with that rotary AC5 with C3. Oh, that's the...
I mean, the 5 jump is also quite good. For a 70-tonner, that's solid.
Yeah, it's of the evolutions of this mech, this is the pinnacle, I think. That's just my opinion, but
it's just too bad it's a dead branch.
Yeah, it's too bad it's dead. But I mean, it's just got so much nice flavor to it. You got the Streak 6s, you got the ER medium, you've got the Rotary 5, the T-Comp, and then on top of that, you have improved C3. It does it all, man. Does it all.
Well, this guy was also seen in 3067, and it has a battle value of 1949 and a point value of 45. And a pretty nifty little capstone. I mean, I also absolutely love the Streak 6, because, I mean, Streak 6s are great. I also love the fact that Streak 6s, when they're married with a targeting computer or C3, just become like, yeah, why not? Like, I actually might hit at 9 hexes.
Yeah, with not the targeting computer, but the C3 just makes them crazy because it's like, yeah, I might be at my max range, but I'm still gonna hit probably, and if I don't, oh well.
Yeah, I'm literally sniping you with SRM6s.
You thought you were beyond my range. Think again.
And with that, we are going to move on to pilot profiles. Our first pilot of the episode is Captain Nicole Doles, and she was a member of the Broadsword Legion, a mercenary unit contracted by the Word of Blake and sent to Prime Outreach. When the Jihad kicked off, she and her unit first fought beside the Dragoons and then switched sides, causing massive destruction. Nicole is credited with 4 kills on Outreach alone. When things really went off the deep end and the orbital bombardment started, she found her conscience and withdrew with her unit by commandeering a dropship to leave Outreach with all haste. The Dragoon survivors report that she said she was not going to be party to this kind of destruction.
Man, odd time to find your conscience after you've, massacred a mercenary unit.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't like the nuclear bombardment part, but I didn't mind totally betraying these guys and killing them in cold blood. But, this is a step too far.
I didn't mind doing all this, yeah.
You can see a lot of people panicking if the literal sky is falling.
I mean, yes. Dude, orbital bombardment is terrifying, and especially how they write it in Battletech. It's just like, you're having naval artillery rounds being dropped on you. It's not... We're not talking precision here. We're just talking... They're just trying to level, like, the state of Rhode Island.
Or Rhode Island.
It's small, and it's just,
Rhode Island apologizes for the rest of us. Is that what you're saying?
I don't apologize to anybody from Rhode Island. So, our next pilot is Adept Conrad Dobson. So Adept Conrad Dobson, he piloted a Warhammer at Tukid. He fought the Ghost Bears. It went about as well as you'd expect because he got mauled by the bear. So he lost his Warhammer. Then, while recovering from his wounds on Terra, he was given his first Excalibur. Note how I said first Excalibur. We'll get into that over time. So he was stationed in North America, and then when the Blakeists showed up, he and his command fought a guerrilla war until they were able to escape off-planet when the evacuation was ordered. Once again, he lost his Excalibur, or he lost a mech, so there you go. There's his first Excalibur. After recovering from wounds suffered on Terra, another theme with this man is a lot of wounds and a lot of recovering, Dobson received another Excalibur and participated in the destruction of the Smoke Jaguars as part of Task Force Serpent. During the assault on Huntress, Dobson used his Excalibur. He hunted down the Jaguars, and he made them smoked Jaguar.
Hello.
Hey. Then he went on to fight with Victor Steiner Davian during the Fedcom Civil War, fighting Lyrans and Lyran lovers alike. Then, during the Jade Falcon incursion, he unfortunately lost his second Excalibur. After the war, the Comm Guards awarded him with the highest honor for valor, and he received yet another Excalibur, this time the CS version that was made in the Draconis Combine. Which he piloted while stationed on Tukid. And then the Jihad happened, and you know how I talked about orbital bombardments earlier? Yeah, he went MIA when the word Blake showed up on Tukid and decided to turn it into Rhode Island.
I mean, did they actually show up at Tukid, or did they just keep a respectful distance while lobbing ordnance?
I mean, they showed up in the Tukid system, so they showed up at Tukid, and then they dropped ordnance from a respectable distance. I mean, you could technically say the ordnance was them showing up on Tukid, because it was Word of Blake manufactured ordnance.
They socially distanced themselves while they were bombing them from orbit.
Yeah, they socially distanced themselves while they leveled Tukid, and unfortunately, Mr. Dobson was listed MIA after this bombardment, which, I mean, probably means that he was turned into a fine atomized pink mist. So, unfortunately, this is probably the last we'll ever see of this fine gentleman and his 3 Excaliburs and 1 Warhammer.
Until they somehow find a way to bring back the dead as computer programs. And then he becomes Excalibur number 4.
I mean, you know, if he becomes Excalibur number 4 and they slap him into D1, I will be very, very happy. I will make Comm Guards. I'm just saying.
The Comm Guards will exist once more.
Hey man, I'll paint up some Comm Guards if they do that.
Final pilot for today is our Smoke Jaguar custom mech. The pilot's name is Cernanos. Have fun trying to find an actual pronunciation. Apparently, he is named by the Comstar Exploratory Corps, and it's actually after a Celtic god of, I believe, the hunt was what my research said. Yes, also known as the Horned God in modern Wicca. So he's still around, I guess, technically, if you wanna look at it like that. Mr. Cern, as I will call him from now on, because I am not trying to pronounce his name every time this bit. Piloted the Excalibur Cernanos and was at the helm of a very exotic trinary of ex-Smoke Jaguar warriors as he came into notoriety after the fall of Clan Smoke Jaguar due to Operation Bulldog. This trinary, which made its home on a warship, the Osis Pride, which is a Potemkin class cruiser, was almost exclusively made out of protomechs, namely the Rock class protomech, with the only exception really being him and his Excalibur. And I can see why they named him after a horned god or some sort of hunting god, because literally that's how he operated. He would go and raid planets, say nothing, and just take what he wanted and blow up anyone who stood in his way. He was
very diplomatic.
Yes.
No mercy, no respite.
There is one nice thing about him is that he did, in fact, it seems like he tried to target bandits the most. So while he would not take any bondsmen, he would leave the slaves that the bandits often kept unharmed. And, that's probably a good step up in the right direction.
Yeah.
There is only one current sighting of him outside of his mech, assuming he is still alive, which is possible, but unlikely, as the sighting seems to have given the Comstar Explorer Corps the impression that he was once a protomech pilot, as he has he seems to look like a Trueborn fighter pilot, and he has the telltale markings of enhanced imaging implants. So, if he is still alive, there's very possible that he is just insane.
I mean, yeah, the aftermath of those implants and kind of what they do to a man, it's
good.
No bueno.
Yeah,
no, like anybody who gets those implants, regardless of origin, gender, genetic makeup, you slowly go nuts.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a slightly longer lifespan, in air quotes. since he is a trueborn fighter pilot, and they tended to have a better time withstanding the effects, but it was more of a delaying the inevitable than curing the problem. Maybe one day we'll get a fix for that, but I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the amount of damage it does to you overall is just it ain't fun.
I mean, the Word of Blake kind of improved upon it with the VDNI system, but all it did was make the insanity take a little bit longer. So, who knows if you implant trueborn fighter pilots with VDNIs, maybe they'll just not have any effects. Clan Wolf, you're in charge now. You can figure this out, right?
Do we really want them playing with Word of Blake tech that's been abandoned?
Might as well. Potato. What's the worst that
What
can
could
happen?
go wrong? What could go wrong?
They all get possessed by the ghost of Blake, obviously.
Praise be.
Praise be.
Praise be.
One final note on Sir Nanos is that quite a few Explorer Corps and other bystanders have noted that he has been cleaning up the periphery much better than most of the purpose-hired mercenaries have been. So good on him.
And results speak for themselves, right?
Having a freaking trinary of protomechs will do that. That's what? How many stars are in a trinary?
3.
15 stars.
No, 3 stars, and is a 0.1 protomech, or is it like 5, like it's elementals?
No, a point is 5, but how many stars? 3 stars to a trinary. So 75 protomechs at least.
That's a lot of protomechs.
It would be 70 protomechs.
Oh, yes,
because
and him.
Because he would be 1 point.
Yes.
Which is
So,
a lot.
Sweet baby Jesus, that's a lot of protomechs. Like, I don't even think I've seen that many protomechs mentioned in, like, fluff. Like, during Operation Bulldog, I think you see a maximum of, like, 10 of them.
Yeah, they're not predominant. They are a footnote at best.
Yeah, and then even during, like, the Wars of Reaving, when they do kind of come into their own, they're still, like, a support unit. How did he even get his mitts on that many protomechs?
I'm remembering the Rock is actually a really good one. But like the Rock is actually one of the better protomechs, if I'm recalling correctly.
Let me Google its stats real quick. It is one of the best first generation protomechs, but it does suffer from the derpy art that all the protomechs suffered from at first.
Yeah, it's got that one ER large laser or ER medium laser and jump jets. Ooh, that's a lot of ER medium lasers.
Guys, don't worry. It's just a bunch of battle armor. And you walk over, it's like, no, it's not battle armor. And all of a sudden you get hit by 70 ER mediums.
You like look outside and it's just this giant display of light. It's like,
Who brought the disco?
I don't like this.
I mean, he could be even cooler and have the heavy laser version, which is to just even more damage, because why not?
I'm sure considering the size of the unit, he probably has a plethora of options.
And he probably has a bunch of customs just because he had to use what parts he had.
Yeah, but very cool narrative possible hook for anybody trying to run a game.
Yeah, if you ever want to fight way too many protomechs, go find this guy. Oh my god, that's why he's named after a hunting god. It's not just because he hunts bandits, but because he has his hounds in the form of birds. I don't know how that works, but yes.
Yes.
That is how it works. It works, yes.
Well, data dive today, we are going to talk about the Jarnfolk. And our data dive today is brought to you by request of our research assistant, Benjamin Dyson. So the Jarnfolk, what do we know about them? What do we actually know about them? Who are they, and how do they fit into the human tapestry that is the inner sphere and beyond? Well, class, today I'm going to try and answer that question. I will give you the information we know first, and then the information we suspect or believe to be accurate. Most of this data was collected from the destroyed Explorer Corps Columbus Station and its fractured network when investigations and recovery started. The Jarnfolk marked the start of their national identity on the 16th of July, 2504. This is notable as this was not the beginning of their journey. Reports indicate that the people who would become the Jarnfolk traveled for 19 years as merchant colonists, before finding and settling first on Aalborg, and then expanding to Halmar, Hoffman, and Trundhelm. Since then, they have made no move to expand their holdings or settle new worlds. In fact, their social order has moved to primarily an agrarian system, making the supplies needed to undertake such an endeavor difficult to say the least. I apologize, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Jarnfolk take their name from the 9 ships referred to as Jarnskib, translated to Iron Ship or Jump Ship, as they travel the stars in search of a new home. A journey that predates the Draconis Combine annexing the Principality of Rasselhog, but very much was inspired by the Draconis Combine. For just as the Caretans had made a pseudo-Japanese state and culture, the people who would become the Jarnfolk wished to make a pseudo-Scandinavian state and culture. In that aim, as I mentioned, they would travel the stars as merchants for 19 years before settling. When the fleet of 9 ships arrived on Aalborg, they knew they had found their new home. And in setting up their new culture, they created a hybrid of traditional Scandinavian values mixed with the new family structure that had developed during the journey. At this point, I need to take a moment to clarify that the Jarnfolk are a nation, and they are not. They very much walk that line that defies definition. The Jarnfolk social structure is based around the concept of family and extended family. The ruling body was comprised of the leaders of the 9 families, all descended from the command staff of the 9 jump ships. The crew became the subordinates of the families, second-class citizens. Each secondary family owes its loyalty and patronage to one of the 9 ruling families. Eventually, over the centuries, a third class would emerge, the outcast or exile. The outcasts often do not last long. They are adopted by another family, or carve a life for themselves in the hinterlands of each planet, or meet an untimely end, stepping carefully as they are provided no protection under the quote-unquote law. The true marker of status in Jarnfolk society is skill and personal honor. The individual serves the family and adds their accomplishments to that of the family, all in an effort to maintain supremacy, or gain it. The people of the Jarnfolk do not have any collective laws per se. They have a ruling council of the 9 most predominant families. Membership is, or was, based on ownership of a jump ship that was part of the founding of the Jarnfolk people. I say was, as sometime after the invasion, the Hideral family jump ship made contact with clan forces and was captured, resulting in their standing falling and being replaced by the James family on the council. Within each ruling family's territories, the family sets the rules, or laws. A few principles or procedures encompass all of Jarnfolk society, most notably that of the blood feuds and honor killings. For feuds are common, but deaths are legal so long as an official filing has been submitted. At that point, it is down to the assassin and your security. If an assassin acts without a filing, they will be hunted down by all of the other families. While each family is part of the Jarnfolk whole, each family's planet and family territory is insular enough that each region has its own dialect for the Jarnfolk language, meaning that often travelers not fluent with the local dialects will have to communicate by writing, a time-consuming and slow process. As you can see, family structure is the cornerstone of the Jarnfolk culture, so much so that they have started using portmanteaus to refer to family members. Examples of this are morfar, meaning mother's father, or faster, meaning father's sister. They even have ones for non-blood relations of the extended families. All members of a clan or faction refer to each other as siblings, and any member adopted from another faction is referred to as a step-sibling. The primary families during the 3070s are the Jensen family, led by Mathis Ensendorp, the Skordsden family, led by Ellen Skordsden. I apologize for my pronunciation of these. The Gudmundsen family, led by George Gundermundsen. The Klunder family, led by Jacob Hansen. The Jasperson family, led by John Jasperson. They were absorbed by the Torvald family by the end of the 3070s. Hoeg family, led by Maken Pederstrati. The Hastrup family, led by Janik Hastrup. Torvald family, led by Thor Torvald. And the James family, led by Ingrid James. You may think these jump ships to be relics of the past, constantly breaking down and needing repairs, and more symbols of the family power than actual ships. That would be wrong. While the Jarnfolk have no battlemech technology that we know of, in fact, they do not use armor or even have a standing army, instead relying on personal guards for protection and enforcement of order. On Trondhelm, the families have worked together in one of the few examples of family cooperation and constructed a large shipyard that is off-limits to all visitors, and maintains the fleet of jump ships and drop ships using parts manufactured on the surface of Trondhelm, the most industrialized of the 4 planets. But what of the other planets? What do they produce? Well, as mentioned, they are primarily agrarian people, meaning they mostly farm. What manufacturing is present is more akin to an artisan or guild system than a factory system. Obviously, farming equipment and other necessities are produced for domestic consumption, but the items of note that would be available for export are most notably jewelry and high-powered custom decorative firearms. All examples are slug throwers. The sidearm is, in fact, a status symbol among the Jarnfolk, and the presence of a firearm shows your status, and its quality and decorative workings even more so. It is an anecdote, as in a single example, but we have a report of an Explorer Corps emissary who was presented with the personal sidearm of one of his security details. When asked what the meaning of this gesture was, it was explained to him that it was a marriage proposal. As I said, it is an important part of Jarnfolk society and standing. Now back to the jump ships. As I said, they are not limping wrecks. They are immaculately maintained and, in fact, decorated with the heraldry of the family they represent. While mostly they keep to themselves, we do know that they trade with the Hasionic League until its absorption by the Scorpions. One of the few points of contact are from salvage teams of the Jarnfolk shifting through the aftermath of the destruction of Columbus Station. Items and equipment, notably battlemechs, were salvaged and then traded to the Hasionic League, no small distance away. That, students, is what we know of the Jarnfolk. Now, what do we believe? The Jarnfolk are hiding their true power and abilities. That is what I believe. That is not to say they are some big boogeyman out in the periphery like the second coming of the clans. They are, after all, only 4 planets that we know of. It would not surprise me if in the 600 years since their settlement, they had not settled 1 or 2 more worlds. But that is not the thing that gets the gears in my head turning. The information that does that is that the Hasionic League and their confirmed and implied contact with the Jarnfolk. For if you take a look at the interstellar maps, you will see that the Jarnfolk territory and the Hasionic League, now the Scorpion Empire, are not close together, and they have had to cross clan territory for some time to complete the journey. We have confirmed that the two do trade regularly, so when you look at logistics, I feel the most logical answer to the hole in the story that is the Jarnfolk is that they have the ability to produce jump ships and drop ships.
Gasp.
Sounds.
We also know that they predate the Star League and have had minimal to no contact with the Inner Sphere. They are a mercantile people who model themselves after the Scandinavians of Terra's past, who were also merchants. I postulate that the Jarnfolk have a fleet of jump ships operating under a flag of independent traders. They have built the facilities to build these ships over the last 600 years in seclusion, unmarred by the Reunification Wars, or Wars of Cameron Aggression, for Josh, and the Succession Wars. Obviously, they took time, and their fleet is not limitless, but they must have more than just 8 ships after the loss of the one to the clans. Supporting this is the original jump ships are symbols, and ships, meaning if they disappear, like we have seen reported, the family falls. Therefore, it would make sense to have the family jump ships remain close to the home, showing and representing the family's power. The other is the modus operandi of the Explorer Corps' emissary's bodyguard, and how it matches reports of operations executed in the Hasionic League. Others have stipulated that these forces are exile Jarnfolk who are employed by nobles for protection or contract hits. Using this operating procedure, others have stipulated that several killings were the work of Jarnfolk agents in the Inner Sphere, the furthest from their territory being on Solaris 7 in 3059 and Tikhonov in 3049. Others stipulate that these agents are exiles, but what if they're not?
Dun dun dun. What if they're not?
Exiles tend to be from the lowest rung of the socio-economic ladder, disgraced nobles aside. But these hits were professional, well executed, and well equipped. This leads me to believe that they are well funded and trained. That doesn't sound like an exile operation. When you also add the fact that the Jarnfolk in general are not known, let alone their martial skills and abilities, how would an individual contact them for a contract? This leads me to believe that they have some sort of shadow network likely built on the small jump ship fleet, allowing for the right people to contact the Jarnfolk agents and contract a hit or protection, all the while not even realizing who they are talking to. But this is just stipulation. I have no way of proving any of it. And as we all know, class, each person looks at a gap in knowledge and sees something a little different to fill it in. But I hope you have enjoyed this little flight of fancy we have went on and took a look at what we know and what we might see if we pull back the curtain on the Jarnfolk isolation.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, they are very quite interesting. Like, if we're being very honest here, they have some interesting stuff going on, but one of those, it's very little for what they actually should be doing for that long in isolation.
Hey man, they just really like staying in their ships.
Yeah, you look at them and it's like they, even though they're not a unified nation per se, like they honestly seem like they're thriving, and especially with the whole, they have essentially a jump ship production facility.
Yeah, they have a shipyard.
Yeah, like why I think that's important is because, in the inner sphere, shipyards are rare. Let alone, some dudes sitting out on the periphery that haven't really been in communication, And the periphery is especially known for not having high-level industry, and these guys are basically building jump ships. Maintaining and building jump ships.
Yeah, the deep periphery is not known for having high levels of industry.
Yeah, most places in the deep periphery would, if anything, would look a lot like Earth probably 50, 60 years ago. Yeah.
World War I, II. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mix in some high-level stuff here and there that they barely understand how it works, let alone how to fix it. And you got the deep periphery in a nutshell. Yep, pretty much. And yet you have these dudes who are literally building jump ships.
Yeah. I mean, a fact that I think helps protect them is they are on the other side of the Draconis Rift. Like, that helps.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they're like nowhere close to the clan invasion zone and all of that. Although, when you mention that they're trading with the Hanseatic League, it's literally the other side of the inner sphere, the northern quadrant of the inner sphere.
They ain't messing around. They got places to be. They've got people to trade with. That's what they care about.
Like, that's a long way. Even like I looked up the distance, distance to Columbus from like the Jarnfolk capital. It's still like 150 light years. Like that is a distance, and then you're trying to get all the way over to Hansik.
What is this distance thing you're speaking of? Is this
That's
a
why
joke
I think
I'm
they have
too
more
rich
ships
to understand?
Yeah, that's and people to assassinate. Yeah, they've got to have some sort of command circuit kind of thing going. So
I mean, considering the like Scandinavian roots, like the like Viking Scandinavian people, which they are modeled on, are known for being merchants and also explorers, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have actually mapped out a whole bunch of like personal or like proprietary jump points, as in like they've mapped out these systems so they know where it is. And like they might have a couple colonies that are like started and just never really fully baked, because 600 years unmarred by basically everything that's been going on the entire Battletech timeline is a long time for you to get somewhere with 4 planets.
yeah, that's true. I mean, and no one's really come in and bothered them. They've just kind of been like, yeah, Jarnfolk.
You don't have mechs, so I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, plus you're all the way out in the middle of nowhere in the deep periphery. I'm not going to bother you.
Build up and build up. Celebrate with a world war and lose the whole freaking fleet by the end of the war.
You talking about your Stellaris run?
No.
Hey man, all I'm saying is the Jarnfolk will be back.
Well, to be back, they have to have been around first. They've been a side note so far.
Hey man.
I'm sorry, but we had to get a new Davian liaison because our old one died from a terrible.
That's how I get assassinated.
He died from a terrible fall down a flight of stairs to the back of the head.
Yeah, new Davian liaison. He kind of just disappeared. We don't know where he went.
Yeah.
I don't want to die.
To the back of the head.
I'm too young to
Chandler's
die.
really trying to avoid Jarnfolk assassination.
Our sources for today are Sarna, Battletech Battlemech Manual, Master Unit List, TRO Succession Wars, Record Sheet Succession Wars, TRO Golden Century, Record Sheets Unique Mechs, Record Sheets 3058 Unabridged Clan and Star League, Explorer Corps, Interstellar Players Volume 1 and 3, and Major Periphery States.
Major periphery states. They're pretty major. They got all those guns they don't have.
This podcast is made possible by our supporters on patreon.com/on the Origin of Battlemechs, link in the description. Our social media on Twitter is at Origin of Mechs. We also have a community Discord, the Armory of Ouroboros, link in the description. You can email us at ontheoriginofbattlemechs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review on your platform of consumption, tell your friends about us, and share on your community platform of choice. Special thanks to my friend Laura for the intro and outro. Our Ace Pilot Patreons are John Keith III, Metal Ed, and Stahlkater. Last dismissed. Everybody have a great day.
Stay safe out there. He's not there to say it.
Fear the Jarnfolk. Fear them.
Module complete. System standby. Would you like to load the next module?
Fear the old blood. Their eyes have yet to open. The Jarnfolk are bloodborne. Hashtag confirmed.
Bloodborne's so good.
Yeah, I should probably hit the stop button too.
This machine is designed to be fat. This machine. Excuse me.
It is a fat machine. It's 70 tons.
There's our stinger.